And hello again, YouTube. We have made a transplant build, which now has a skill tree, and I am very excited about it because it's super strong. So we're going to quickly go over what we've done in transplant. So we've done, that's our main clear ability is now this. We've got 80% area from this node. We change all of the damage into necrotic damage here. We add 3 extra corpses to the departure point. We add 1 extra corpse to where you go, and another 3 to the destination. So there's 4 corpses where you leave, 4 corpses when you land, all with increased area. So if you teleport on the spot, you're hitting people 8 times with that. Then we've gone up here to grab cast Rip Blood at 3 nearby enemies when you use transplant, and just a little bit of blood patches and a little bit of healing here for the extra points because we didn't need them, which moves us over to Rip Blood, which is amazingly helpful. So 2 things. We started with 100% chance to splatter here and another 100% chance to splatter there. So we splatter twice every single time, guaranteed. Splatter causes a explosion around the target that you rip blood on that will not hit the same target, but will just hit the ones around it. So we increased its AoE by 100%. I ended up putting a point in here early on, which I wish I hadn't. I should have just put it in either more area or more damage. This point is unneeded, don't take it. We took 2 points here because we needed them to go here, which turns this one also into necrotic damage so that we can scale necrotic damage the same way as transplant. We've taken the amount of points we needed here, which was 4, and then 1 extra because we had it left over. We did that at the end. And we've taken this node, which Rip Blood no longer creates an orb of blood, so you can no longer return health, ward, or mana. But if Rip Blood kills a target, it is then cast again for free on a new target near the dead one. So whenever I transplant, I cast Rip Blood on 3 enemies, and if Rip Blood kills any of them, it'll cast again on another one nearby, and that will just continue to chain out until something doesn't die or there isn't anything near it. And so that happens just automatically whenever I teleport, which is fantastic. Left me with 2 things. 1, the character was a little bit slow, and the pure single target because of the cooldown on transplant wasn't great for the bosses, so we went with Hungering Soul to fill our single target gap, add a bunch of base damage to it, go down this path so that we only summon 1 Hungering Soul because we're not using it for clear at all, and give it as much damage as possible, as much crit as possible, as much crit multi as possible. So we've just gone out there. Now we have just a single large skull that we use for single target only. You do run out of mana pretty quick, but to be honest, nothing lives long enough to matter. So it will die before you run out of mana, whatever it is you're casting at. Then we went with Reperform because it's got a tree now and it's awesome. So we've got, while in Reperform, your health decays 60% slower. This is pretty much needed if you want to be able to stay in Reperform for the entire map or arena, which I can do now, just forever, it's fine. And since we're not really using it for damage, I haven't really taken a lot of the damage nodes in here. I have taken this one because it was a travel one into 50 crit multi, because that's just generic crit multi that just happens for everything. We've taken this one because it speeds us the fuck up. Gain swiftness, you move a lot faster. It's quite useful. And then we've just gone down attack and cast speed, 4% increased spell damage while ever you're in Reperform per 5 seconds, up to a maximum of 80, so that's pretty much up all the time because we never leave Reperform. And then this just to make it end up at the 80 faster. The last skill I have on my bar is Aura of Decay, but we're not actually using that at all. I just plan on respeccing this character, so I'm taking a poison thing because that's what I'm going to play next. But what should have been here is your curse, which is Mark for Death. Going down in necrotic protection, increased damage taken, the area, and I was thinking about going chill, but with the amount of damage that I do now, I'm not sure what even needs to be done with the last one. Mana efficiency if you have that problem, duration if you have that problem. Chill is really good defensively, but everything seems to be dying way too fast to need it, so these nodes here, or area, minus necrotic protection and take increased damage would be the nodes that I would go with. Over on our passives, everything we're using is int and spells, except Reaper Form, which is only used to buff us and give us attack speed, cast speed, move speed, crit multi, so everything else scales with int, scales with spell damage, scales with necrotic damage. So that's what we've been looking for. So we've taken 8 in the int here, 7 in this point, just because we needed enough to move up. We didn't really need vitality, but it was the only other relevant point for this build. And, you know, protections aren't bad and they come from vitality, and we've got increased health regen because of effects that drain a percentage of your current health per second, drain 25% reduced health. So that's helping us with Reaper Form. That's what's part of what's making us live through Reaper Form. Taking nothing in Necromancer, straight over here into base health, spell damage, leeches health, increased necrotic damage. We weren't quite high enough to reach the next ring, so I went with 4 intellect, even though it reduces my health regeneration. It was the best one I saw as an option, and it's been fine. So we moved up again. We got more vitality here just because we needed to move up another tier, and there was nothing better for us. Straight into spell damage and intellect. So all these abilities are gaining 4% damage per point of intellect. This comes with spell damage and intellect, so it's a pretty heavy damage node. We put 8 in there. We moved up to critical strike chance, attack and cast speed. We moved into the flat necrotic damage to hits with spells and attacks. We've taken crit multi, and I was getting leech here because I forgot that I hadn't had 10 points left in here yet. I should have put another point in here before I started getting leech, but yeah, leech up the top. And that is basically it. So you can see my gear is all relatively average. I've got a broken wand with no good tier rolls on it. Decent chest. The most important roll in my entire gear set is on this helmet, which is cooldown recovery speed. That is not a high enough tier of it. The higher tier of that you get, the better. It is the most important thing for this build. We've got the world's shittiest crit amulet, which I would love to recraft if I had more time. Just a basic shield, bit of glancing blow, bit of health. Bit of glancing blow, bit of health, bit of protection, bit of glancing blow everywhere. This unique belt, because I couldn't be bothered crafting one, a crafted one would be better. You can get necrotic damage on rings. I should have a crit multi relic here, but I don't because I haven't found a good one that I haven't broken yet. Again, everything is just health and a bit of glancing blows. Because I've only been playing this character for a day and a half, I don't have 100% glancing blows yet, but that would be the goal. Would be 100% glancing blows. So we're not quite there. Gear is all pretty average and pretty easily obtainable. And let's just quickly run a monolith, show you the different skills. The patch, the most recent patch, did not solve our minimap problem where the minimap sometimes disappears, which was a bit unfortunate, but everything else looks significantly better than it used to. And now I can just teleport around. Occasionally I can cast Rip Blood if I want to clear as well. If teleport's on cooldown, Rip Blood works quite well. The curse should be a lot more powerful because I should be spec'd into it, but you can see even those single target mobs that are supposed to have high health, if you just walk up next to them and hit teleport on the other side, you hit them with every teleport and every Rip Blood and they just get one shot. That's it. But you can use that to clear. I mostly use it to clear, although it's excellent single target in a once-off. Has a decent cooldown, so it's no good for proper single target. I use my Hungering Soul, which hits crits for nearly 30k now with a curse up. It would be over 30k if I actually had spec'd into the curse. You can see Transplant hitting for 15k on cursed enemies, and that's again without being spec'd into the curse. And then if you're on cooldown, Rip Blood on its own does a pretty good job of clearing. So you can even clear without transplant, just using the Rip Blood. You can see it chain off into the distance there. Quite useful, quite powerful. You can see I've been in Reaper form the entire time. It's, unless you run out of things to hit the leech, you'll never have to leave Reaper form. You can see it degens relatively quick, but unless you've got to travel a really long distance like this, it's not really a problem. Having a missing minimap, still a problem though. This chaining Rip Blood is fantastic. And that is, I think, I can't really tell which is doing more damage, the transplant or the Rip Blood that happens when I transplant, but either way, I'm pretty happy with its damage potential. But yeah, only got a few days to play here, so I'm going to respec this build into something completely different because I want to try different things, but this has been fantastic. And if you actually get the gear for it, and you hit out your crit multi, and you get into about level 70 with a really good weapon, I do not see any reason why I couldn't see crits of over 100k on this character with Hungering Soul, and probably in the 40 to 50 range with Transplant, and probably in the 35-ish range with Rip Blood. So probably the highest hitting character I have made in this entire game so far. Super happy about it. That's the end of that. And I'm going to respec this into something else and try out more things. So I will see everybody later.